Hello, hello,
Hi
Welcome,
Naga.
everyone.
welcome
Hello,
to
hello,
our
Pawandeep.
channel. Hi Naga, welcome to our
Hi Naga.
channel, Unblock Your Stutter podcast. As we always bring to you, Milos and myself, we always try to bring you some special guests who are really, really special in their own way. And today's guest is no less, but I can say that he can be a future all-star here. And I
Most
will,
definitely.
before I tell who our guest is, I can just tell that thank you for your support, for your love to our channel, because our aim, as has been stated, is love for fluent speech. And I think Milos and myself, we are like really, really grateful to all of you for seeing our channel.
Very much
So,
so.
so
Yeah,
without,
thanks for having me, Milos and Pawandeep. It's a pleasure. Thanks for
thank
having me
you,
once again.
The
thanks a lot.
pleasure is all ours. Yeah.
Thank you. So, guys, without wasting time, who our new guest is? Our new guest is Nagabhushan. Nagabushan is from India. He his educational qualification is that he is a mining engineer. Naga, I have known Naga for the past, I think, 3 years, and every time I talk to him, I am motivated. So I'm sure you guys will be motivated also after this talk. Naga is passionate about sports. He likes tennis. He likes cricket. I'm sure he likes Novak Djokovic.
Yeah,
And
obviously.
actually, I prepared some rhymes for that. So, with cricket and tennis, he finds
Okay,
his way through
okay.
sport and speech. He plays each day a
Hmm.
story of strength, of trial and grace. Naga's voice finds its rightful place.
Wow,
Wow,
very
Ta-da!
nice, very nice.
Milos, you have an alternate career option. Can be a
Yeah,
poet.
that is alternative MC career
And
option.
guys,
Yeah.
and guys, Naga reads a lot of world history. His level of knowledge,
I as well.
I can tell you. Yeah, sure. Even Milos, guys, okay? I'm
Yeah.
really sorry.
No, no.
So
I
Naga's
want to say we share that passion. Yeah. Another
very nice.
thing to call him for. Yeah.
Just one last thing about Naga, and this comes from the bottom of my heart. He is a very knowledgeable person. And I think during the talk, you will know regarding his past for sure from where he comes from and what he's doing right now. And I hope that you all will like this whole video. So, Milos, how are you doing, my friend?
Hi, Pawandeep. I am doing great, making rhymes each and every day. Yeah. Uh,
You missed your,
Nice.
yeah, Milos,
that was a freestyle.
you
Um,
missed your like trademark response. Better than I deserve. How are you doing?
yeah,
Better
better than
than.
I deserve. Yeah,
Okay,
guys,
okay,
that's an Orthodox Christian response.
okay.
We are, we woke up this morning. We didn't work for it. We are breathing. We are thinking. We can love. We can talk. We can see, and those are all things that we didn't earn. So, in my opinion, we are doing better than we deserve. Yeah,
Yeah,
Perfect, perfect. So
yeah.
great.
Naga, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Pawandeep, the last couple of weeks have been like really good for me. Uh, like nothing special in terms of my professional setting or a personal setting, but I'm just in the right space like right now. So
Nice.
I'm just doing very well. You know.
Nice, nice. Naga, if you can, so the first question is always regarding who are you? Okay,
Okay.
and even we have that same question. Can you please tell our viewers who are you?
But before that, we have the question from previous guest that
Okay,
has to be answered,
okay,
and Hassan has
all
passed
right.
it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay,
You
fine.
stopped by
Yes, sir.
question on the previous podcast. I have to return the favor. So what so what has stammering teach you, Naga? Can you tell us that? That was a question for Hassan, from Hassan.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. What stuttering has taught me, I would say that it has taught me to work hard, to never like give up. Because when you work hard, like some days it might not go in your favor, right? You have some good days, some bad days, but more often than not, you always think about the bad days. Why things are not working, and you have this tendency to give up. So what stammering has really like taught me is to keep trying, and if you keep on trying, you will like definitely attain your goal. So this applies to like life in general. If you have like something on your mind, if you want to like, achieve something in your life, you should keep pursuing it. See, like there will be certain pitfalls, and like you should never like think about it too much. Just give your best,
Most
and
definitely.
the result will take care of itself.
Great, great. So Naga,
Yeah.
Milos,
So
who is he?
who I
Who
am,
are you?
Say a
I,
few
I
words.
can I can give a like philosophical answer, but no, I'm not going to give a philosophical answer. See, I'm just a normal like middle class guy from India. Just normal upbringing, good parents, good friends. Uh, I'm a firm believer in you are a byproduct of your environment, right? I was very fortunate enough to have the right environment when I was growing up. As I said, good parents, good friends. I was fortunate, to be put in a good school, to have like 3 meals a day, etc. So a lot of people like they don't have it, around the world. So I consider myself, like lucky in that way that I was born at the right place in the right environment. I was given the right kind of upbringing. So in a nutshell, I would say that I'm just a normal like middle class guy who was fortunate enough to be born in the right place. And I also believe that like whatever I've done in my life so far, it has been entirely my choice, right? I was never forced into anything, be it my parents, my friends. They've never really like thrusted upon, uh, like thrusted, like anything upon me. So whatever I've done in my life, it's all my choices, and I'm just happy with, like where I am like right now.
Great, Milos.
Yeah, we have just talked about that attitude of gratefulness, and I think it's very important, Naga, that you have it and maintain it and feed it. My question to you, so you are a mining engineer, right? Do you
Yeah.
work in mines concretely?
Okay,
And
that's an
i-
interesting question.
is that a dangerous job? Because my grandfather was a miner, is a mine, I mean, was a miner. Now he's retired, of course, but um, I know for a fact he had a lot of surgeries due to the injuries on the job and so on. So, what are your experience here related to the speech, and are you able to perform the job at the highest level?
Okay. So Milos, I'm like no longer a mining engineer. I used to work in mines before, but I've
Huh?
like given up that career. Now I'm in a different field. So talking about mines, I'll just give you a brief. insight about how it is to work in mines. It is a tough job. Like, make no mistake, it is tougher than your average job because it involves a lot of physical activity. See,
Yeah.
especially if you're working in an underground mine, you have to go underground every day. You have to walk a lot of distance. You have to cover so much ground, and accidents can happen at any point because it's not a safe job. If there is a cave in, um, like, there is no
Yeah.
surety that you'll come out alive. So it is a dangerous job. But because of the technological advancements in the last maybe 15, 20 years, now it is, I would say, like, relatively safe. But I'm not sure it was the same during your grandfather's era.
Yeah,
Yes,
most definitely not.
during
Most
your
definitely.
grandfather's era, it was a dangerous job.
Maybe
Now,
50s, 60s. He
yeah,
started working really young because he had to lie his age because he didn't had a father and was from a poor family, so he needed a job as soon as possible. And then when he got retired, he had to figure out how to increase his employment age because he wasn't certified back then. But okay, that's another topic. Pawandeep, do you want to mention
Yeah,
something?
yeah. I think that, of course, mining, as we know, is one of the toughest jobs in the world, like really hard. So, Naga, you mentioned that your family your family is a big support for you.
yes,
So my question is on that. Uh, how do you look at parents' support towards a young child or even a young boy who is stuttering, and how important is that parent support for that child in his or her journey to become a confident and fluent speaker in future?
it is very important. See, because most of the stutterers, they develop this habit at a very young age. In my case, I acquired it when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. So it's very important for parents to identify that, and it's very important for parents to be a constant source of support. See, because at some places, kids of your age will mock you, for the way you speak. At that
Yeah,
time, a parent should lend his or her shoulder to, like, hear you out and to constantly encourage you. Because if you don't get that support at home, it can be very, very difficult. And at that age, if you don't get parental support, and if you're not ready to face the world because of your stutter, mentally it can be very, very, very difficult. It's because you're not getting the support at home. The outside world is not too kind to you. You can go into some form of depression. So if the parents are watching this, to all the parents of kids who stutter, be a constant source of support to your kid, and, like, identify ways through which you can cure the stutter of your kid. Even if your kid doesn't improve, you should always stick by your kid. And I think most parents are empathetic. They don't really, like, give up on their children. But in some, like, broken homes, I think it can be a problem where parents are not too, like, empathetic towards kids. They have their own issues at home, right? So those
Yeah.
parents, if you're watching this, you have the responsibility because you've brought a life to this planet Earth. So you have that responsibility. So, like, own up that responsibility and be a constant source of support to your kid.
Uh, just a question regarding that because Pawandeep sparked a good topic, and you are also talking about the responsibility of the parents. And my question is, at least here in Serbia, I'm not sure how the situation is regarding India, but here parents have started giving children mobile phones and gaming consoles from an early age, and they gave it to them for a child to fit in, but it will most definitely affect motorical speaking um, development of a child. Can you say a few words about that? How is your feeling regarding that?
Yeah, I can like totally understand where you're coming from. See, in the current world that we are living in, where technology has really taken over, you find kids with phones, with laptops at a very young age. As a result, they go into a shell, right? They're not really exposed to the outside world, and I think it can be counterproductive when it comes to stutter. See, because the more you interact with the outside world, the more conversations you have with people, I mean, the better you get in terms of your stutter. If you don't have that opportunity, if you spend like too much time in front of a machine, here it's a mobile phone or a laptop, do not get that opportunity to interact, to get better, and to feel confident. So it is a very, very valid point that you brought in right now, that
Yeah.
the parents giving mobile phones or tabs or laptops, it can have a like detrimental effect on a child's stutter.
So
Most definitely, yeah.
yeah, true only. I think uh, laptops and phones, the world has been molded in such a way now that you can't stop it even if you want to. So we have to find different ways to actually engage those people, even though they might be having phones or laptops. But
But like, what is, just to hear add, like, why would a child who is in kindergarten or at the beginning of elementary school need a phone or a social media account? He doesn't need it. If
yeah,
that is the way to fit in, it's better never to fit in my opinion, than to fit in that way. At least I consider that. Yeah, Pawandeep, I interrupted you. Sorry.
sure. So Naga, so my next question for you is that, uh, so you also mentioned, and this was also mentioned in our last guest's video also. Uh, so basically, like Ehsan also mentioned this. So it's it's true that people do not have the empathy towards people who stutter because there is a lack of knowledge, to be very honest. They might take other serious issues with a human being very well, but still in this day and age, even though people have laptops and phones where they can watch and study different things, people are not empathetic towards stuttering in most of the countries in the world still. So my question to you is that what ways, okay, how it affected you, number one. Number two is that how can we try to spread the word more? There have been books, there have been videos, even we are doing it. But what is a better way to spread this word and make people aware of this issue?
Okay, so to answer your first question, as I told you before, I was like fortunate enough to have the right environment around me. So I didn't really like face that much in my circle where people made fun of me, be it my friends or the circle around me. So I was like fortunate in a way. Maybe one or two odd jokes here and there on me, but that's okay. So I was really fortunate that way. And coming to your like second question, how to like sensitize people more. See, I think it is a like societal like responsibility. See, because like stammerers, they are a source of joke on mainstream media. Like you see movies where a comedian will mimic a stutterer, and it is like perceived as a comedy sequence, right? So like those things have to change. Uh, See, when you're in the mainstream media, when something is as powerful as a cinema or something that has a like wider reach, I mean those filmmakers or people who are in charge of the production, they should be more like sensitive towards the needs of the stutterer. See, because it reaches a large number of people. One, so that is one thing. And to spread the awareness about like stutter, see, I think like maybe we can incorporate something at a school level, I would say, in a syllabus or something where you like let other people know that like not every single individual is born the same way. It's just not stutter. It can be like some other um, problem an individual like faces in his or her life. See, most of the times, uh, people who feel they're normal, they look at others who have some issue in in not a very right way. And I think that is because of the fact that they're not exposed to that at school level. So as kids, maybe incorporate something in the syllabus where to tell the kids that not everyone is born in the same way, and we should like respect others for whatever could be their like perceived flaws, right? So
Yeah.
so that like sensitization should happen at a very young age. And I believe it's a like societal phenomenon. We as a like society, we should change, and the change should happen at school level. It should happen at home, and for the larger society, the mass media like cinema, newspapers, whatever. I mean, they should stop poking fun at people who are different.
Yeah. And I think that uh, yeah, like we are just a very small medium, but we are trying to go towards that same goal of increasing this information and knowledge to whoever sees these videos. Yeah, Milos?
Yeah. Yeah, we have just confirmed a special guest for the next week, so I'm looking forward. I will keep it a secret
Oh, secret.
who it
I was about
is.
to ask.
Yeah, but
Like, can you give a clue? Like, can you give some clue?
she is a big time comedian and she bases her humor on a stammer. I mean, big time, the biggest stammering comedian that I know. Uh, okay, so my question for you, Naga, since we both love history, where did the interest for history come for you? And I know that in my case, it has toughened me up. My character was kind of build up when you learn the past because you have an opportunity to relive those lives. Is that the same as in your case, and how did it help you? Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting question about my interest in history. So I think it all boils down to evolution, I would say. See, because we've evolved as human beings from what we were like thousands of years back to what we are now. So there is a constant evolution that is happening. Now, if you understand the scientific part of it, so that's a whole different ball game, right? So that's a
I
different ball
mean,
game.
on
But
science, we can agree to disagree. There are creationists, there are evolutionists, but I'm talking more about the history of world events. Okay?
yeah. So I'm coming to that. Yeah. So if you like leave aside the scientific part of it, understanding history, I think it helps you to understand the society of today in a better way. See, because I'm a firm believer in the fact that whatever has happened in the past, it has some connect to what is happening like right now. So delving like deep into our past, like trying to understand how people like lived their lives back then, like what was the society back then, who were the rulers, what was the common issues back then, and how those people with limited like resources, how they were able to like resolve that. If you have some understanding of that, you can use those lessons and you can improve your lives today. So see, for example, like we know what happened in World War I and World War II, right? It led to large scale death and destruction. Fortunately, we have avoided another large scale war, as in a World War III, because we've learned the lesson from those events that if most of the countries in the world, I mean, they're at war with each other, it's going to lead to large scale death and destruction. So we've managed to avoid a World War III, which in itself is a lesson from history, right? So similarly,
Yes.
we can take like so much from the past about our lifestyles, about the problems in the society, and we can apply to what is happening at present. So I'm always like intrigued by that, and I feel that we as human beings we can progress by understanding our past.
And kinda on psychological level, when inspecting those sources, human beings haven't changed much when you read the sources. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Pawandeep, please.
Yeah, so uh, it's always smart to learn from the events of the past, yeah. And and I think it's the same thing for the people who stutter. So Naga, my next question is that what what phases of your life you still recount when you were having this issue? I don't want to always name it, but what were those negative phases? What was your mindset then? How have you tried to overcome them? And what was your mindset then? And when you have overcome them, what is your mindset now?
Okay, that's a wonderful question, Pawandeep. Okay, so my worst phase during my stuttering days was in my like final year of college. See, as you all know, we have to appear for the campus interviews. You're looking for a job, you want to get employed, you want to start, like a career, right? So the first interview that I attended, I have very bad memories of it, but I
Same here.
still, yeah, I still like recount that interview, and it has made me, tougher, be it mentally or be it in terms of my speech. See, the first interview that I attended, I'm not going to name the company. It's a software company that I attended. I
Don't.
was
It's fine.
yeah, I
You
was
were a
underprepared.
programmer.
No, no, no. See, the thing in India is you can take any engineering field, and the software companies are ready to recruit you. So that is the thing in India, because our job market is quite big, and you have many skilled engineers, and
Uh-huh.
they generally get like recruited in IT firms. So in my case as well, the first interview came from an IT firm. So
You
this time
know,
around, hmm?
me as a mechanical core engineer, I was actually given the like all of these companies, like they actually like gave me huge sums, but I said no, thank you.
Yeah,
You stayed loyal to your field. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
great.
Naga, sorry,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
over to
yeah.
you, Anish.
So
Sorry.
I eventually ended up in my core field, but yeah, but the first job, I mean, the first interview that ended, I just wanted to like keep my options open, right? So the first one was an IT firm, and I was underprepared. I did not like prepare anything for the interview. I was under the impression that I can somehow like perform well, but it wasn't the case. Where I basically like struggled to get through the interview. At many places, I could not utter a word, and I had to take time. The interviewer was looking at me. Thankfully, in my case, the interview was helpful. That he asked me to like, take a deep breath. He was asking me to relax. He was like, "No issues. Like take as much time as you want." But still, it didn't go well. I really
Yeah,
struggled.
usually people don't understand when you say to a person who stammer relax, he's already trying to do so, so it's not helpful. The best thing you can do is wait. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, one question, Naga, let's go to your
Milos,
personal
wait,
history.
wait, wait,
I
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
thought
I
I
will.
Yeah,
thought that was
we will have to still finish. Wait.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I
I
will finish.
thought
Yeah,
it was done.
quickly.
Okay.
So I couldn't
It's
really
fine.
utter.
I am such a rude person.
Oh no no. So I think once the interview got over, I was literally shaking, because I think you all can relate to what I'm saying. After coming out of that room, I felt really bad and I couldn't really sleep that night. And I mean, the result was like right in front of me. Like I didn't really have to wait for the result to be out. I knew that I wasn't going to be selected, and that was the result, right? See, like this gave me some motivation, because my next interview was my core company, and I had I think 45 days. It was not 45. I think maybe 40 days for the next interview. I decided to work for the next like 40 days. I Morning, evening, night, I was just focusing on my speech. See, I used to attend my class in college, but constantly I was just thinking about my speech, like what to do, how to improve every single day. So I did some like, mirror practice. I did slow reading. I attended many mock interviews. I asked my friends to take mock interviews, my family. They were like really helpful. And by 30 to 40 days, I felt somewhat confident. See, because that first experience, it really scars you mentally. Even though you're ready, you still have doubts in your mind because that's how bad you feel after that first experience. So by 30 to 40 days, I was somewhat confident, but still, I had this hesitation in my mind that what if the same episode repeats again. So this time, the second one, I went into the interview room. I was still nervous, and the first 1 minute again, I fumbled a bit, but then I don't know what happened. It was like a switch, flipped on. Something just happened, and after that, I was just completely fluent. And the interviewer, he barely noticed my stutter, and I ended up getting the job. So the lesson that I learned from this 40 days, I think that really shaped me as an individual. And whatever I am today in terms of my confidence, I would like owe it to those 40 days. That if you work towards something, if you're honest, if you put in the work, then you will get the desired result. So that I mean, like those 40 days, it was not only uh, an eye opener for me. It helped me to get my first job, and it it kind of made me the person I am today.
Milos,
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's now go a little back in your personal history since you love history. Um, what was that the lowest moment in your life as far as stammering goes, or do you remember even lower than that? And just to correct you, it wasn't the same case in my case, because at least in my, and I know Pawandeep as well, I think we did good first job interviews, but this varies. So does adrenaline help you when there are speech situations, or it's vice versa in you? Thank you.
See, in my case, it's not about your adrenaline. See, in my case, it's all about calming myself down. It's because in the first interview, I was not calm. When I went to the hall, I was very nervous. In the second interview also, I was nervous. But I think the practice that I did, it somehow helped me in a very organic way. Like I didn't really have to like put in the effort to calm down. It automatically made me to feel calm. I think it came from the practice, and it becomes a part of your muscle memory, I would say. See, because once you do something over a period of time, it becomes a part of your system, right? So in my case, in my second interview, I didn't really have to like put in much of an effort at that particular instant. It just came very like naturally to me, and I would credit it to the work that I put in for the 40 days prior.
Okay,
Great.
but was that the lowest moment in your life as far as stammering goes, or was it something else from your childhood?
Okay, that's another interesting question. Okay, this was a low point because I couldn't get the job despite having a good GPA, like, despite doing the return well. My speech was the factor that kept me away from getting a job. So I felt bad in that way. But in terms of low moments, I would put something on par with this. Uh, See, because this incident happened in front of a group of people. Here, you're facing just the interviewer. It's just one person, right? So, like, not able to get the job because of your speech. It gave a particular type of low. I would say the other incident was in college when I had to like deliver a seminar in front of my class, right? In front of 40, 50 people. There, when you stutter in front of a crowd, that gives you I would say, a different type of flow. So I would put that incident on par with this, where like public speaking and when you are in room with a person, so both had a different type of impact on me, but both were equally bad when it comes to uh, bad experiences.
Yeah, I think that it's I think part and parcel of life for people who do actually face these blockages in their speech. So I think it's like people who started, I think they are the only ones in the world who face failures each day of their life, and then they also face success each day of their life. So our emotions are like going up and down constantly. So with that being said, how can we sustain to be calm? So different people are different. You are different, Milos is different, I am different. The people all over the world are different. But we do know that yes, stutterers have to be calm to be fluent, right? But the hardest part is that how to be calm. And for every different person, staying calm is different. What, according to you, is your mantra or your way of being calm? And what suggestion do you give people to be calm?
Okay, I think you have summed it perfectly. I don't think I could have said it better. That each person has his or her own way of staying calm. See, in my case, as I told you before, I didn't have to like really do anything in particular to stay calm. It just happened. It's because I put in like loads of work, like prior to that incident, right? When you have to stay calm. Like prior to that event, I put in like loads of work, and that automatically came to my rescue. So in my case, I didn't really have to like put in the effort. And even now, when I'm confronted with a high pressure situation, I don't really think about staying calm. It just happens very like naturally to me because I work on my speech, and that reflects when I'm confronted with a problem. Now, for your second question of what like people should do, again there are like different techniques. You are the best judge of your own speech, and you are the best judge of yourself. So you have to try different techniques, and whatever works for you, you have to stick with that. See, like not all stutters are same. They have like varied levels of stutter, and what works for one person, it might not work for the other, and vice versa. So you just have to like figure out a method of staying calm. It can be like meditation, it can be yoga, it can be counting backwards from 100, it can be just staying at it can be staying in the moment. See, it can be anything, but you just have to like figure out what works for you. You can do this by like trial and error method. You can maybe try like meditation for some days. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you always have another option. You always have something else to try, right? It's because there are so many ways through which you can remain calm. So just have this method of trial and error. So try out in different things. What works for you works for you. What doesn't work for you, it doesn't. So yeah.
Nice. Milos?
Yeah, there are different opinions about those different methods. I have my own, but I wanted to ask you regarding a struggle of stammering itself. Um, do you know at that day how the day is going to pass far as your speech goes, or are you now pretty on the solid bench, let's say? Do you have great variations, or does it now slows down? Now you know yourself. Yeah.
Okay. See, in my case, I don't really have that feeling that I'm going to speak in a bad manner today. I don't really have that feeling beforehand. In my case, stuttering is purely involuntary. Uh, See, in my case, it is something that I'm not able to control when it happens at that particular moment. It's not like walking, sitting, where you can control your action. It is voluntary action. In my case, it is involuntary. So I don't really have a clue when it can like come up, right? In my case, so that is the thing. And and secondly, about the moments when it comes up, how do I manage it? See, when it comes up, I I just completely change my tone of speaking. See, because when I stutter on a word, I know that I just have to change my way of speaking. And over a period of time, I have like developed this technique where I'm speaking in one way, and when something just comes up, when I feel something is not right, I switch into a different way of speaking, like how I'm speaking right now. If you notice, I'm speaking slightly in a different way from maybe few seconds ago. So I can make that shift, and that shift happens because I have practiced in comfortable environments in calls such as Stamrai. I practiced that a lot, and when that happens in the real event, I'm able to snap out of it. I'm able to snap out of the stutter, and I'm able to use a different way of speaking instantly.
Uh, how do you feel when you see someone else stammering in front of you? And uh, what what is the difference between thinking about your stammering and not thinking about your stammering? Does it really help in fluency? I am just asking you this question because people who stutter actually think about speech throughout the day. And if you see people who do not stutter are actually not thinking about whether they will talk in a fluent way or not. They are just talking about what I will say at this moment of time. That is the reason why I am asking you this question, because when Milos asked you the last question, or throughout the video right now, you have mentioned the word practice a lot.
Okay, so to answer your first question, how I feel when people stutter in front of me, I can completely empathize with a fellow stutterer. It's because I've been through that, and I know how it feels when you stutter. So when someone is stuttering in front of me, as Miloš like rightly said, I never ask that person to calm down, to take a breath. I just observe. I don't give any reaction on my face. So once that person is done, saying what he has to say, once we are done with the conversation, or once the topic is over, maybe I will ask him, or I will tell him to follow certain techniques. I will say that I'm also a fellow stutterer, and I've improved like using these techniques, and you can also probably try these techniques. So I would just give my suggestions to that person. But when he's stuttering in front of me, I think the best thing to do is what Miloš like rightly pointed out. Just give a neutral reaction. Just maintain eye contact with the person. Don't ask him to calm down. Don't ask him to take a deep breath. Just maintain eye contact. Don't give anything out in terms of your verbal communication. So that's about the reaction to people who stutter in front of me. And to your second question, I think it's a very, very interesting question. Probably the most interesting question of the day, where you tend to stutter when you think about it. And I think it holds true for most of us. See, it's a very, very complex area. It's a gray area. See, because like sometimes you speak better when you think about it. It's because you are constantly like reminded that you might stutter and you might use techniques better. But when you overthink, it can like deteriorate your speech in a very bad way. I can completely understand where you're coming from. And see it, in my case, it's, I would say, 50-50. Sometimes when I think about it, I tend to do better, and sometimes when I think about it, I tend to do worse. mm, yeah, but I agree, in general it's better not to think about it, like, even though it comes inevitably, right?
Does
Like to
it,
put in this.
does
Yeah, go on.
it, does not thinking about it come from real practice and practicing for a long time?
Yes, I completely agree with that statement. That you tend to like forget about stuttering when you're completely confident about yourself. See, you have these doubts in your mind only when you're short on confidence. It applies to any other thing. See, for example, since Milos is here, I'm quoting like Novak Djokovic. See, like Novak Djokovic, when he's
Our pride
confident,
and joy. Yeah.
yeah, when he's confident,
Right.
he's there all across the
Well,
court.
I keep it to myself. You have your own sportsman. Leave this
Uh,
one to me, okay?
yeah.
I am
He's
joking.
not only pride of
Ye-
Serbia, he's pride of
Yeah,
all
yeah,
countries.
yeah,
I am
yeah,
joking,
yeah,
but he's most of Serbian pride. You have a little bit pieces
yeah.
of him.
Would be the next
Okay.
president maybe of Serbia at this
I
rate.
I doubt I don't want that for him.
Yeah.
Serbian policies are tough. Serbia is always geographically and historically in tough positions, surrounded but by a lot of unfriendly countries, let's say. Okay.
Yeah,
Do
I will
you
just
want
finish
to
that.
say something? Yeah?
Yeah, I'll finish that. So yeah, when he's confident, he's there all across the court. He's retrieving every ball. He's filling the ball well. He's making the backhands, forehands, whatever. But when he's short on confidence, his game, falls apart. I think the same thing when it comes to thinking about stammering. When you're confident, you don't really think about it, and that again comes with practice. See, if you're practicing every day, if you're doing it for maybe 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, don't think you think about stammering. Like only when you're short of practice, you think that, oh my god, I haven't practiced for maybe 5 days, 6 days. What if I stammer? So that thought occurs to you when you are short on practice. If you're practicing every day, I don't think it. Those thoughts show up.
Milos.
Yeah. I just wanted to explain to the viewers, of course, he's a worldwide figure, but when no one was supporting him, Serbia always supported him. So that's why he's ours first and foremost. But now I wanted to get your input on the situation that occurred to me today. So Naga, I am talking like this non-stop for 3 weeks now, and a person told to me, you are sounding like a computer. And I asked him, do you want me to stammer? Is that your goal? Like, what actually do you want me to sound like? Do you want me to have spasms, blockage, stutter? And he realized the situation and apologized. He didn't. He said to me, I don't mind it. I said, it's nothing for you to decide if it minds you or not. I will talk like this and I don't care. And we finish the conversation. But what is your input when you constantly are applying a certain technique? Did you got that similar reactions?
Yeah, it's a great question again, because like sometimes like techniques are difficult to implement in the real world because you're constantly thinking in your mind what will be the reaction of the observer. I mean, the person in front of you, how he's going to react when I use a particular technique. I think that attitude has to change, and that change will not come very soon. In your case, the attitude that you displayed, that is the perfect attitude to have, that you don't really care about his or her reaction. It's always better to say what you want to say in a particular way than stutter and not say anything, right? At least you're able to communicate what you really
Yeah,
want
and
to say.
just to put a context of the previous videos and the reason why I'm on this podcast first and foremost is to come across the message that stammering is a healthcare issue. It's not a character issue. So we need to resolve it with constant usage of techniques, right, Naga?
Yeah. So it can be very difficult when you're facing a stranger and your mind is constantly thinking whether the person is going to judge me for speaking in a certain way. But as I told you before, it's always better to communicate what you have in your mind by using a certain technique than stutter and not say anything. See, even when you stutter, that person is going to react in the same way. But here, at least you're saying what you really want to say. I mean, the message is sent across. But there, I mean, the message is not sent across, and the person is also like looking at you in a weird way. So A is better than B. At least there you're sending the message across. So if you have that in your mind, I don't think you will like really think about it. Your mind will start thinking, okay, I'm at least sending across the message. I don't like really care what he thinks about me as long as the message is sent across.
All right. I think the point of view that you are giving us is so refreshing, is so new. And yes, I'm sure that the viewers will learn from what you are saying. So I think the last few questions, I think. So Naga, what so now that we have talked about whatever you have faced in your life and what have been your ways of becoming a fluent speaker, which you are right now. What one important suggestion you will give to your fellow speakers who have this problem, and what will you say to them? Of course, be calm, but then with that, be calm. What else?
Okay, see, the only thing I want to tell my fellow stammerers, see, like you're not the only person or persons on this planet Earth with problems. Every person will have his or her own problems. So you're not alone. So don't think that I have this issue and because of that I'm alone, I'm feeling lonely, my life is bad or whatever. Every person in his or her own way will have their own problems, right? So you have to understand that with some effort and with positive mindset, anything can be solved. It's just not stammering. Any problem, if you apply your mind, if you put in the work, if you're true to yourself, if you learn from your mistakes, these are the four things I would say. Learn from your mistakes, apply your mind, be true to yourself, and put in the work. If you do these four things, you can pretty much conquer any barrier that is in front of you. It's just not stuttering. Any barrier, anything in life, any hurdle that you have to cross. Like these, these are the four ingredients I would say, and the same applies to stuttering as well. So it's just not uh, being calm or using the techniques. It's about the change in the attitude and using these four mantras. If you're able to do that, you will be as fluent as any person on this planet.
Nice. Milos, one last.
Yeah, do you know some quotes of historical persons and some motivational quote that you will share to our viewers? Because usually when Pawandeep and I are together, the first slide is a motivational quote. So do you have such a quote? And also, what would be your question for the next guest?
Okay. So a quote, a motivational quote, I would say. Uh, I think there is a quote which goes like Rome was not built in a single day or something like that. And I will apply it to the Indian context. In India, we have this monument, Taj Mahal.
Yes,
I
I
think you
do
have heard about
know
it,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Miloš. So like Taj
It's
Mahal,
for a wife. It was built
yeah,
for a
yeah,
wife.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There you go. Yeah, I mean, your history nerd is coming out.
history fanatic. Yeah.
Yeah, fanatic is coming out. Correct. So this Taj Mahal was not built in a single day. It took years of work to build that monument, and it is standing across centuries. Whatever was built on that day, it has not like deteriorated, and it is standing as a wonder even today. So that is the approach towards life, I would say. And see, like anything that is long lasting, that has survived like generations, it is not built in a single day. Same applies to a stammering. So don't expect like short term results. If you want to like really improve, it's going to take time, but once you put in that effort, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be like long lasting. So that's,
Nice,
and my
nice.
question to the next
Yeah.
speaker. Okay, now you're putting me in a spot about the question that I have to ask the next speaker. You said he or she is a comedian, right?
Yeah, she's a comedian, and specific about her is that she makes humor out of stammering, and she does stammer. So, what question do you have for her?
Okay, a sub question: is she a European or Indian, or what is her?
She's
Very
an American.
okay, fine. Okay, my question to her, in America, right, where she's from, uh, how much are people like really exposed to stuttering, right? Because you think that America is a developed country, the biggest economy, blah blah blah. So is it any like different there when compared to the rest of the world when it comes to the perception of stuttering? Because I really want to know, because they say that it's the best country to live in. So what is the scenario
Okay.
there when it comes to understanding of stuttering?
Okay, so general awareness of
Yes,
stammering in USA. Good
in
question.
the most like
I
developed
also
country, most
wanted to
developed country.
know that, to be honest with you. Yeah, I had same question for Pawandeep, but he will tell me privately.
If see in his case, he's still an Indian, no, at heart. At heart, he's still an
Yeah,
Indian. So we can we can learn that from a proper American. He's still
yeah,
an
yeah.
Indian at heart.
I know that. I respect that maximum. Okay,
Great.
so guys,
Thank you,
uh,
Milos. Milos,
thank you
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Milos, please. Comments for the
Like,
end.
ring the bell, subscribe, share the video. It's upon the person who stammer to share the awareness. We must have bravery amongst our own ranks in order to change the situation. So Naga, once the video is out, I hope you share it as well on your social medias, or at least on some where you feel comfortable. And yeah, I leave you until the next time, and Pawandeep as
Just
well.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
just a moment.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Naga,
Naga
please,
wanted to
please.
say
Last
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
comments.
Please,
I want
Naga.
to say something. See what you
Yeah,
guys are doing. It's a great initiative. What you have started, and I hope that you get to speak with more people, spread more awareness. And I had a wonderful time today. Like recounting my past experiences, and we covered some like general topics as well. So it's a wonderful initiative. Please keep at it, guys. I expect this podcast to grow. Like more people across the world, they watch it. Not just stutterers, even the people who don't stutter. I hope that they get to find this podcast, and I hope that you become celebrities pretty soon.
Oh my God.
podcast celebrities.
I would try to keep my privacy, but let's see. Let's
And
see. I have
like,
now
thanks for having me.
already exposed, so yeah.
And yeah, like, thanks for having me. And
Great.
You are
Thank
it's a
you.
welcome,
lovely
man.
discussion.
Thank you, Naga. So firstly, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank you for giving us time to share your experiences
Anytime.
of your life. That is really good, and I am sure that we will be calling you back again in future. Uh,
Anytime.
and I'm sure that when you're back next time, we will be better because our goal in this channel, Unblock Your Startup podcast, is to share views of people who are a success in life now after facing so many failures due to their speech blockages. And I'm sure that many young people and many old people with their family members will be able to learn about stuttering from
That's right.
what you have said today. Uh, as Milos said, guys, please like, share, and subscribe our channel because our aim is to reach out to all the people in the world, not only stammerers. And yes, I will just end with this last sentence. Our aim is to love speaking fluently. So thank you guys. See you
Love
again.
speaking. See you guys.
Bye
Goodbye.
bye.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye.